Hello everyone, this is Shanshi Linfen. Today I'm excited to share my journey with a 1953 antique car. I'm Tian Ying, and this classic vehicle has been sitting for decades, waiting for someone to restore its former glory. Let's dive into the details of this fascinating project. Starting with the interior, it's clear that time has taken its toll. Everything is covered in a thick layer of dust, from the steering wheel to the original seats. Despite the dirt, it's remarkable to see how well the original components have held up. However, the sheer amount of dust was overwhelming. It felt like digging through history. Curious about the back seat, I decided to explore further. I found some interesting items tucked away, like a gourd and a few sieves, but they were all buried under layers of dust. It was like uncovering small relics of a bygone era, though some items were too far gone to identify. Moving to the exterior, the car's body is rusted but mostly intact. The frame, while worn, still retains its elegance, and most of the original parts are present. Despite its condition, I couldn't help but admire its beauty and potential. Without hesitation, I decided to bring it home. This car deserves a second chance, and I'm determined to give it one. Once I got the car home, I began the process of testing whether it could still run. First, I poured engine oil into the cylinder to let it soak. After replacing the old battery with a new one, I saved a bit of money on repairs. When I tried starting it, the engine wouldn't crank, so I decided to fix the starter motor myself. With some patience and effort, I finally got it cranking, and to my delight, there was a spark. It was a small but encouraging sign that the engine might come back to life. The trunk, however, was an entirely different challenge. It hadn't been opened in years and was completely rusted shut. I even called a locksmith for help, but the unique design of the car left him puzzled. With no other option, I decided to cut it open. What I found inside felt like an archaeological dig, a trunk filled with dirt that must have weighed several tons. Clearing it out took hours, and by the end of the day, I was exhausted. Yet the satisfaction of making progress kept me motivated. After clearing the trunk, I moved on to restoring the car's exterior. Many friends suggested focusing on the left side first, following the idea of male left, female right. I began by stripping the old paint, carefully removing the doors, grille, and windows. Disassembling the glass was particularly tricky. I had to be extremely cautious not to damage it, as finding replacements would be nearly impossible. Piece by piece, I worked to reveal the original beauty hidden beneath decades of dirt and rust. The engine and transmission presented their own set of challenges. Removing the exhaust system was time-consuming, but I finally managed to disassemble the original 90-horsepower straight-six engine. The process was grueling, but seeing the engine separated from the car was a rewarding moment. One pleasant surprise was discovering that some of the original parts, like the turn signals, were still intact. The previous owner had sealed certain areas with small metal plates, which helped preserve them. After removing the fenders and trunk lid, I began preparing the car for sanding and rust-proof painting. Each step, no matter how small, brings this classic car closer to its former glory. Restoring this car is not just about fixing it, it's about uncovering its history and giving it new life. Every challenge, whether it's removing stubborn parts or finding compatible replacements, is a step toward achieving that goal. The process is time-consuming and demanding, but the joy of seeing progress is unparalleled. This is only the beginning of the journey. Thank you all for your support and encouragement as I work to bring this 1953 antique car back to life. Stay tuned for more updates. I can't wait to show you the transformation and share more stories from this incredible restoration adventure. Back in the day, the technology available for car manufacturing and repair was far from advanced. This can be seen in the imperfections on the car's surface, smooth in some areas yet pitted with dents in others. For smaller dents, tweezers are used to fill them in carefully. It's a delicate process that requires reworking the edges, often leaving behind visible hammer marks as a testament to the manual effort involved. The white patches on the surface? Those are areas filled with tin, a material chosen for its resistance to oxidation and its relatively high melting point. For larger dents, tin becomes indispensable. Its excellent malleability makes it easier to mold and shape, which is why it's frequently used in sections of the car that require durability, like joints and connections. However, its softness means polishing must be handled with extreme care. Even a slight misstep could undo hours of work. The polished front right fender, for example, now gleams but still bears the marks of its restoration journey, with its uneven tin layer hinting at the challenges faced during the process. While working on this car, I stumbled upon a fascinating discovery, a hidden treasure of sorts, crucial for recreating the car's original form. Unearthing this brought immense joy and added to my determination to restore the vehicle. Take the front grille, for instance, a true masterpiece of design, reminiscent of a time when craftsmanship reigned supreme. To me, it's not just a car part, it's a work of art from a bygone era. My goal is to restore this 1953 classic car to its former glory, capturing every detail that made it iconic. However, the restoration has been far from straightforward. Decades of wear and tear have left their mark, with many screws rusted tight. Removing these has been a painstaking process. For instance, the screws on the front fenders were so corroded that I had to saw through them to free the parts. Once I learned from the experience, removing screws on the opposite side went much more smoothly. Each step forward is a victory in this long, meticulous journey. After disassembling the major components, I turned my attention to the polishing process. This involved carefully smoothing out surfaces, especially on the front bumper, which had sustained considerable damage. Once the bumper was completed, I shifted my focus to other areas, such as the interior and engine, which have remarkably remained intact since 1953. However, finding a sandblasting service to handle the delicate restoration work has proven to be a significant hurdle. Without suitable equipment, I've had to resort to manual polishing for many sections, a laborious task, particularly for tight corners and tricky angles. Despite these challenges, the results have been promising. The original iron surfaces, revealed after thorough grinding, showcase the potential of this restoration. The body panels remain in excellent condition, with the floor panels requiring minimal repairs. Some areas, like the frame for the rear windshield, demand extra care due to their intricate designs. Tin has played a crucial role here, providing durability and oxidation resistance. This is especially important for a car like this, which lacks a traditional chassis frame and relies on its body for structural integrity. With the major polishing done, the next step is applying an anti-rust primer to protect the surfaces. This stage is crucial for preventing further corrosion and ensuring the car's longevity. After disassembling the rear axle, I meticulously cleaned off the rust and polished each component. Soon, everything will be reassembled, and a final coat of primer will be applied to seal the restored surfaces. Winter has added its own set of challenges to the project. The cold temperatures and short days have slowed progress significantly, making each task feel more arduous. Despite these obstacles, I remain committed to speeding up the restoration process. This car, with its history and unique design, deserves to be brought back to life. Many friends and supporters have shown interest in its progress, and their encouragement keeps me motivated. Restoring a car from 1953 is no small feat. It's not just about the technical work. It's about preserving a piece of history, capturing the spirit of an era that valued craftsmanship and durability. Every detail matters, from the body panels to the tiniest screws. Although the work is tedious and time-consuming, the satisfaction of seeing this classic car gradually return to its former glory makes it all worthwhile. Thank you to everyone who has followed along and supported this journey. Your encouragement is invaluable, and I look forward to sharing more updates soon. Stay tuned as this timeless beauty gets closer to its rebirth. Restoring this little forklift has been quite the journey, and it's sparked a lot of curiosity among my friends. This compact forklift, originally built in 1986 by the Zhenjiang brand, may be small and nimble, but it's incredibly practical. It's perfect for tasks like installing engines or attaching front axles, and with its half-ton capacity, it's become a trusty companion in my workshop. The front axle is already installed, and I've been focusing on the engine restoration. When I first got the engine, the previous owner admitted they hadn't even changed the oil after reassembling it, so that was my first task. This engine, though brand new and untouched, was manufactured way back in 1965. It's been sitting idle for over 50 years, and I felt like I was bringing it back to life. After cleaning off decades of grime and giving it a fresh oil change, I fired it up. Hearing it run for the first time was exhilarating. It's like unearthing a piece of history. Once the engine was running smoothly, it needed a thorough cleaning. Using a steam cleaner and engine cleaning solution, I painstakingly removed layers of rust and oil stains that had built up over the years. After disassembling components like the generator, oil filter, and distributor, I cleaned each piece meticulously. Seeing the engine gleam like new after such hard work was deeply satisfying, a reminder that patience and effort always pay off. But the forklift isn't the only thing I've been working on. My larger project is a vintage car from 1953, a true relic of its time. I purchased it for what I thought was a great deal, $5,000 per ton. My wife, however, didn't share my excitement and gave me an earful for bringing home what she called a pile of junk. At that moment, I realized I had committed to more than just a car. I'd taken on a challenge that would consume my time, energy, and every ounce of my mechanical knowledge. This car is a testament to 1950s craftsmanship. The metalwork is extraordinary, showcasing techniques that are rarely seen today. After carefully replating and polishing the front bumper, its brass undertones started to shine. To complete the process, I added a chrome finish, which gave the bumper a stunning mirror-like appearance. It's moments like these that make the long hours worth it. Seeing a piece of history come alive under my hands. Of course, restoring a vintage car isn't without its frustrations. Finding original parts has been a monumental challenge. Some components simply aren't available for purchase anymore, so I've had to craft replacements from scratch. Other parts take months of searching through obscure markets and online forums. When I finally find the right piece, it feels like striking gold. Thankfully, the car's previous owner provided a few key components, which saved me a lot of trouble and expense. The interior restoration has been just as demanding. The original seats still had their factory upholstery, a rare find after so many decades. However, parts of the fabric were damaged, and replacing it without compromising the car's authenticity was no small feat. I spent hours scouring furniture markets, comparing fabrics and colors. Should I go with red, gray, or navy? Every choice felt like it carried the weight of history. Eventually, I settled on a material that closely matched the original, but even that required a lot of work to fit perfectly. Because of the daytime heat, I've made a habit of working at night when it's cooler and quieter. There's something peaceful about those late hours. Just me, my tools, and the hum of my workspace. Slowly but surely, the car has started to take shape. When I installed the bumper and grille, it felt like the car was finally coming back to life. Restoring vintage vehicles isn't just about the physical labor, it's an emotional process. Each step, from polishing a dashboard to cleaning decades-old dirt off a seat, connects you to the car's history. It's a mix of frustration, determination, and pure joy. There have been nights when I've asked myself, why am I doing this? But then I look at the gleaming chrome, the carefully restored upholstery, and the smooth-running engine, and I remember why. This journey has taught me patience and given me a deep respect for the craftsmanship of the past. Restoring a vintage car isn't just a hobby, it's a commitment to preserving something unique, a piece of history that tells a story. Whether it's sourcing parts, repairing worn-out seats, or polishing a bumper until it shines, every detail matters. And when the restoration is complete, I know it'll be worth every late night, every frustration, and every dollar spent. For anyone considering taking on a project like this, my advice is simple. Have patience, embrace the process, and be prepared to invest not just your time, but your heart. Hey everyone, welcome to my talk. It's great to have you here, and I'm really excited to share this journey with you. Let's dive right in. First, I had to wrap everything in plastic. What a hassle. But hey, you do what you have to do to keep things clean. Matching the original color and materials was no small task. That headliner alone gave me such a headache. It needed to fit perfectly to keep that vintage vibe alive. I took it apart, made adjustments, and put it back together. 2 days of hard work just for one piece. But let me tell you, seeing it all come together was worth every second. Once the edges and corners were all perfectly in place, I stepped back and admired the results. Hard work really does pay off. There's something incredibly satisfying about seeing a project finally come together, piece by piece. This car? I got it for a steal, just 5,000 yuan per ton. When I bought it, the seller boasted that it was a classic from the 50s. Honestly, I thought they were a little naive. They believed they were selling me a hidden treasure, but I wasn't so sure. Still, I couldn't pass up such a bargain. Once I brought it home, though, I realized what I'd gotten myself into. This 1953 classic has been a real challenge. 6 months of repairs later, I can finally say it's starting to feel like mine. At first, I wasn't sure if I could handle it, but now I've grown to love the process. Each time I fix something, I gain a little more confidence. Sure, I've had moments of frustration. My hands ache, and sometimes I want to quit. But then I remind myself why I started. One night, I even dreamt of my dad. He asked, "Why do you put yourself through this?" And I told him, "Because this car has history and I want to preserve it." Sometimes it feels like my hands are complaining, aching from all the work. But they're also proud of what they have accomplished. Life's tough, but I've learned to make the most of it. This project is a test of patience and determination. Some days I want to treat myself to a break or a fancy spa day, but then I snap back to reality and get to work. After all, this is my one shot to make something amazing. Today's agenda: seats, door panels, and the headliner, all still waiting to be finished. I'm also tackling the carpets and double-checking the wiring and radiator. Everything's coming together now. Even the brand new parts, shipped all the way from Ukraine, are finally here. They shine like new and add such character to the car. Installing the driving lights and polishing up the exterior was the cherry on top. It's finally time to take this beauty out for a spin. I grabbed my little assistant, hopped in, and hit the road. What a feeling! Hi, I'm Tian Ying, and I've been working on this car for a full year now. I picked it up on October 28th last year, drove it home from Shanxi, and began the painstaking process of restoring it. Some people thought I had hit the jackpot, but they didn't realize just how much work it needed. Still, I wouldn't trade this experience for anything. This car has brought me so much joy and, surprisingly, a lot of support. Your encouragement keeps me going. So thank you. Let's see what we can accomplish tomorrow.